Hey guys, hope you're doing well today. Thanks for your interest in our ebook, Using Digital Technology and Online Technology to Grow Business Value and Enhance Your Business Value over time. Today I want to talk to you about a really interesting topic, and this is chapter 4. It's about gaining strength in your brand and recognition in the online world, and also getting sticky customers. Funny term, sticky customers. But when we value a brand for a business, the traditional way is to look at a number of the stats around the business, and part of that is the strength of sales. If you're growing sales, then we automatically think, okay, well, you must be growing your profile in the market. And so to an extent that's about how sticky are customers in coming back and buying your services. But with the great advances in online technology and the interactivity online, now in looking at valuing businesses, we look more closely at the interactivity you're having as a business with customers online, and how your community, your customers, your suppliers, others in your network, if you like, are interacting and engaging with you online. And you'll remember back in chapter 1, we talked about the importance of having a dynamic engagement of both suppliers and customers using online technology. So this chapter is linked to that, but it's about brand recognition and market credibility. And look, I've got a really interesting case study. It's a brief one, but it really blew me away in terms of just thinking about the strength and influence of the online world in building a strong business brand. Two companies, two small businesses, actually both based in Sydney, and they service the same market. And let's call them Company A and Company B. Now, Company A has been around for about 8 years, and it's got a solid brand presence, and it's got solid market credibility, and it's been growing that over the period. Company B, it's actually been around for 2 years, and the fascinating thing is that Company B has basically developed 75% of the brand recognition that Company A has already, just in 2 years. And you've got to say to yourself, how did they do that? Like that seems almost too good to be true. But I can tell you that's exactly what's happened. And it's interesting, like a few years ago and even now, business owners will come to us and they'll say, look, I want you to value my business. Importantly, it must be worth quite a bit because we've been around in the market since 1975, and we were established then, and over time we've built the business and had an involvement with a lot of customers, and surely that adds to the value of the business. And look, we look at that as values. We pay close attention to that. The time in the market, the time on the job, as I like to call it, right? That's important. But increasingly, what's more important is what you've delivered when you've been on the job. And that young company that's been around for 2 years, Company B, the how around how they got their brand to 75% of Company A is all about a couple of factors. Firstly, it's about how they've engaged and used online technology, social media and the platforms to build their network and to engage the community and the clients they have around their offering and the delivery of the jobs, right? And they've done that very smartly, very astutely. And as a result, they've built strong credibility and dynamic credibility, because, it's now feeding on itself, right? As the customers look at how that company, develops their offering ongoing. So it's surprising what you can do in a very short space of time in building brand profile and market credibility. But a word of warning here, there's no silver bullets today around building brand profile and sustaining market credibility. For a business, there's an old adage that applies more so today than it did back in 1975, and that is that you're only as good as your last job, how you performed, and what your customer and others in your network are saying about you online. And so, that's why it's so important to nurture that platform and network. So, in summary, what have we learned from Chapter 4 in terms of gaining brand profile and improving market credibility? Well, there's 3 key points. The first one is dynamically engage your customers, suppliers, your network, and your community, both online and offline. The second point is, no longer is brand credibility just about time in the market. The third point is, guys, there's no silver bullets here. In the online-offline world of today, there's super scrutiny on your brand. The old adage, you're as good as your last job, has never been truer. And make sure your performance on the last job is represented online in a dynamic way. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for listening.